Good morning and welcome to Storytime. Thank you so much for joining us again today. And we are reading How to Write a Story. And this one is written by Kate Messner and illustrated by Mark Siegel. Thank you so much for joining us for that one, and you are very welcome. Yes, let us find out what that one is all about. Good morning to you, Jackson. How are you doing today? The first one in. How are you, Jackson? Good to see you out there. And good morning to you, John. Thank you so much for joining us. Yes, good morning to you. And I hope you are ready for How to Write a Story. And this one is written by Kate Messner and illustrated by Mark Siegel. Yes, get settled for that one. Good morning to you. Good morning to you, Kanayo, out in Dublin. How are you doing today? Thank you so much for joining us. Good morning to you in Antioch, Naima, Cairo, and Nia. How are you today? And good morning to you, Dominique. Hopefully you are ready for our story today. Thank you so much for joining in. Asta and Absa, how are you today? Good to see you. Good morning. Right here in Auckland. Thank you for joining us. And in Talia, and we're joined by Talia in San Francisco. How are you doing? Rita Bobita, thank you so much for joining us. Yes, one more time. Good morning to you, Talia. How are you doing today? Good morning to you, Madalena. How are you? And of course, as always, joining in with Tudor out in San Francisco. How are you doing today? Great to see you. Thank you so much for joining in. Yes, no, this is an amazing story. I'm excited. I hope you enjoy it. Good morning to you, Rachel Mudenda Reed. Missed you yesterday. How are you doing? Good to see you out there. Thank you so much for joining in. Yes, good morning. How is El Paso today? Good morning to you, Danny. Good morning to you, Isabella. Good morning to you, Leslie. And of course, good morning to you, Louise. How are you doing today right here in Auckland? Harmony Beth, how are you doing? Good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. John, I am great. Thank you so much. Good to see you. Yes, you are the first one in today. Good morning to you, Jackson. And good morning to you, Vivian. Good morning. And you're joining in with Sebastian out in San Francisco. Yes, good morning to you. Thank you for joining in. Desmond in Gilroy, how are you doing? Good morning to you, Jess. Thank you. Welcome. Good morning to you, Kingsley Isioma. How are you doing? Joining us all the way out in Denmark. How are you today? And you're joining in with Sandra, Sopuru, Arinze, and Choco. How are you doing today? Thank you so much. Have a lovely evening on that side. And yes, hopefully a good story to take you to bed. Good morning, good evening, wherever you're joining us from. Thank you so much. Good morning to you, Giada. Good morning to you, Santiago. And good morning to you, baby Marco. How are you doing today? And yes, good morning to you, Camille. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us. Yes, Katebe Kunda, how are you doing? Joining us all the way out in Zambia. Good morning to you and welcome to today's reading of How to Write a Story. Yes. Good morning to you, Monica. How are you doing? And you're joining in with Arav in San Mateo. How are you? Yes, good morning. Bonavi Thomas, how are you doing today? Yes, another person that could tell us a few things about how to write a story. Good morning to you, Bonavi. Thank you for joining in. Katebe Kunda, thank you for joining us. Yes, good evening to you. Ellen in Chicago, how are you doing? Yes, a lovely morning for me so far. I hope you are having a good one yourself. Thank you so much. And yes, very cloudy out here in Auckland. Ellen, how is Chicago today? Good morning to you. Ooh, I hope I get this name correct. Hawa and Adama from Orinda. How are you doing? And you're joining in with Dia. How are you? I hope I got those names correctly. Thank you so much for joining us. Raven and Maya, how are you doing? And good morning to you, Kathleen. So glad you are here with us. Good morning. Good morning To you, Katebe Kunda, joining in with Walia and Kaluba from Kitwe. Yes, the copper belt of Zambia. How are you doing today? Thank you so much for joining us. Yes, Walia and Kaluba, one more time. How are you today? So glad you're here. Inutu, Mauluka, how are you doing all the way out in Australia? How are you doing? Yes. How are you today? Thank you so much for joining us. I'm trying to think what time it is on that side. Please do let me know. Hey, sunshine in Chicago. Oh, jealous, Ellen. Thank you for sharing that, though. Vivian, thank you so much. How are you? Yes, one more time. We are going to get started with our story in just 1 minute. And today we are reading How to Write a Story. And this one is written by Kate Messner and illustrated by Mark Siegel. Yes, to join in for that one in a minute. Salome Lerato Limata, how are you doing? Good to see you. Yes, how are you doing today? Great, great, great. I hope you're having a lovely time today. Thank you so much for joining in. White Sun Chavula, you are not late. You are on Zambian time, so you're okay. Zambian time is never late. You're here. We're about to start. All right. Thank you so much for joining in. And Lerato, Salome, good to see you. Yes. Oh, 3 a.m. Well, Inutu, you get the prize today. Joining us at 3:30 a.m. My goodness, that is crazy. Thank you for joining in. Story time, though. Much appreciated. Yes. Hopefully we don't keep you up too long. All right. Let us get started with How to Write a Story, written by Kate Messner and illustrated by Mark Siegel. And of course, this book is being read with permission of Chronicle Books of San Francisco. Do find links where you can buy yourself a copy in the description below, as well as on all the Storytime platforms, Storytime with Mr. Limata platforms. So please do find that book there. But for now, let us enjoy how to write a story. Let us learn a thing or two. Yes. Step 1. Rocco and Clay, I will hold on until you're settled so we can start. We're just about to start. You made it on time. Good morning. Mono, Lee, Natasha, and Violet, thank you. Olive Oil, made it. Yes, you're here. From Lusaka, White Sun Chavula, thank you so much. All right, well, let's get started. Good morning to you, Katie and Olive Oil. Yes, How to Write a Story by Kate Messner and illustrated by Mark Siegel. Read with permission of Chronicle Books of San Francisco. All right, step 1, search for an idea, a shiny one. You can write about something you love or something that scares you. It could be space, it could be horses, it could be airplanes, it could be sea monsters, or it could be giant spiders. All great topics. You might write about something you know really well. It could be playing soccer. It could be dogs, or it could be anything. Or you can research a topic you'd like to learn more about. And the library is always a good place to start. Don't worry if not all your ideas are shiny. Sometimes you have to collect a lot to figure out what works best. So true. Step 2. Once you have your idea, choose a setting. Only you can decide when and where your story will take place. It could be at a soccer field. It could be in an art museum. It could be outer space. Or it could be in an aquarium. Your choice. Step 3. Choose a main character. That's the person who grows and changes the most as the story unfolds. You can brainstorm and draw your main character if you want. Try to learn all about them before you start writing. Step 4. Dream up a problem for your main character. It can be a regular everyday problem, like spilled juice, lost homework, a stabbed toe, ouch. Or something a bit more adventurous. It could be a sea monster hatches in the city aquarium. How about that one? Step 5. Now it's time to plan your story. Start with something exciting. Sea monster scares fish. Sea monster's tail cracks the tank. Make the problem worse and worse until finally your character thinks of something to do. It could be lasso the sea monster, maybe. Step 6. Write your story with so much detail readers can see it in their minds. Right? Step 6. Write your story with so much detail readers can see it in their minds. How about this one? The mermaid grabbed a kelp plant and quickly tied it into a lasso. She twirled it over her head and waited for the sea monster to surface. As soon as he popped up his head, she threw the kelp as hard as she could. The lasso sailed through the air and landed around his skinny neck. The sea monster was captured. When you finish your first draft, take a break and go do something else. Stories need to blossom and grow. Step 7. Read through your story and make a list of ways to make it better. What if the lassoing sea monster doesn't work? What other animals at the aquarium can help? Is it sardines? Is it sharks? Octopus? Add details about the sea monster's rage. Splashes and thrashes, whips his tail. So she sang a song. The sea animals came to help. The lasso wasn't strong enough. What happens next? Reading out loud helps, especially if you can read to a friend. Sometimes friends see things in our stories that we don't. Soon, other animals came to help. Do you want to add more detail there? Help! The mermaid shouted. She couldn't hold on much longer. Just in time, a school of sardines arrived. They swam silver circles around the sea monster to confuse him, while an octopus raced in with more kelp lassos and tied him up. Sharks! The mermaid called. Will they come? What's gonna happen? In a flash, 2 great white sharks answered the mermaid's call. She lassoed them to catch a ride. Together, they grabbed the sea monster's ropes and leaped over the edge of the tank. Step 8. When you've finished revising and your story is captivating as it can possibly be, read through a few more times. Make sure every sentence starts with a capital letter and ends with punctuation. If you're not sure how to spell a word, now is a good time to check. Step 9. Choose a captivating title for your story and give it illustrations if you want. Pictures help tell stories too. The Mermaid and the Monster. How about that one? Step 10. Share your story with a friend or two, or maybe lots of friends. The mermaid, the sharks, and the sea monster flew out of the aquarium and splash into the sea. When your story is over and everyone's gone, start searching for a new idea that wants to be written. The end. Thank you so much for joining in for that wonderful story, wonderful lesson indeed. How to write a story, written amazingly by Kate Messner and illustrations by Mark Siegel. Thank you so much for joining in for that one. That is how you write a story. And I can tell you honestly, like, I learned so much. I've been teaching writing for so long now, but still, like, it was something when I was reading this book, I realized there are other tips that I could still give to my students. And so parents out there, get a copy for yourself and be sure to go through this and find ways in which you can go on adventures with your kids in their writing. But talking of adventures, tomorrow we are back again with another exciting adventure, and this time we will be reading Beauty, and this one is written by the amazing Deborah Underwood and illustrated by Meg Hunt. So do join us for that one tomorrow. But yes, of course, today I hope you enjoyed how to write a story. And Bonabi Thomas, I know you're somebody that could definitely tell us how to write a story. Thank you so much for joining in, everybody. Let's see who else has joined us in that time. I hope you enjoyed that story. That is an amazing story. Chris Wheeler, I know it is you. Good morning to you. Kat Saxton, how are you doing? Thank you so much for joining in. How is Harry doing today? Thank you so much to everybody that joined in. Daki Shepa, Pema and Maya, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Yes, Jennifer Veda, how are you doing? Thank you so much. Yes, a how-to book indeed. Thank you, Jennifer Veda, for joining in. Bonabi Thomas, you are very welcome, my sister. Good to see you out there. Thank you for joining us as always. Harry, yes. Oh, if I can impress you, buddy, I am excited. My day is done. Nicole Flynn, thank you so much for joining in with JJ and Frankie. Yes, thank you so much for joining us. Katie, thank you so much. And to you, Olive Oil, yes, thank you so much for joining in. Love you, love you, love you, and see you soon. Whiteson Chavula, very welcome. Thank you for joining us. Yes, 10 steps, Vivian, 10 steps. Thank you so much for that. Ben Stewart, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And you say thanks for the story. Sylvie and Elsie, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed that story, Sylvie and Elsie. Good to see you with us today. Thank you so much. Have yourself a lovely Wednesday, and I'll see you tomorrow for Reading Beauty. All right? Thank you. And to you, Kathleen, Maya, and Raven, thank you so much. I will see you again tomorrow. Yes, thank you everybody for joining in today. From me, it is much love. And of course, I will see you in the morning for Reading Beauty. Have yourselves a lovely day. Enjoy it. Bye-bye.